Breaking news on CBS 2 News at 5. A huge gas explosion in San Francisco set several buildings on fire and forces evacuations.
And CBS 2's Crystal Cruz is live in the newsroom with details on this firefight. Crystal.
Pat and Jeff, the explosion happened near a construction site and quickly caught nearby buildings on fire. Now, the fire chief says crews concentrated on, quote, surrounding and drowning the fire while PG&E scrambled to shut off gas flow. It appears workers accidentally cut a gas line, a natural gas line, that caused a huge fireball. At least 5 buildings went up in flames. Witnesses say police and fire crews ran door to door, getting people to evacuate, including a post office. 3-story high flames shot through the air. Everyone in a 1-block radius was forced to get out. The explosion and massive fire happened just after 1 this afternoon in the Richmond district, not far from the University of San Francisco. In the initial confusion, 5 people were reported missing, but thankfully all of them have been found alive. Now, the fire chief had an initial cause of the explosion.
It's believed to be workers doing some fiber optic work in the street that might have breached a gas line. So what you see is open flame.
And despite the massive blast and fire, there were no injuries reported. One witness told the Associated Press, quote, "I think the 8 guys are really lucky they didn't get blown to bits." Now here's a live look at the scene. Crews got the flames under control about an hour ago. Firefighters and utility workers will be on the scene for hours, possibly all night. And tonight, the Red Cross is on scene to help displaced residents with a place to stay. Live in the newsroom, I'm Crystal Cruz. Pat and Jeff, back to you.
Hi, Crystal, thank you. More breaking news now, this time in the Inland Empire, where police have arrested a couple with ties to the porn industry.
They are accused of sexually abusing an underage girl repeatedly. And CBS 2's Nicole Comstock is live in Rancho Cucamonga, where the arrests were made. Nicole?
That's right. The couple appeared in court today, and both of them pled not guilty to 8 counts of sexual acts with a child under the age of 10 years old. And this was all for alleged crimes that occurred right here inside their Rancho Cucamonga apartment. We want to get straight to those booking photos right now because detectives want you to take a good look at these 2 people. This is 35-year-old Melinda Smith and 43-year-old Jason Whitney. But detectives tell us they're well known in the film world as Mercedes Carrera and Damon Sins. They're an actress and a director, detectives say, in pornographic movies. And they're releasing these photos because they believe they could have been sexually abusing other children as well. Detectives say that about a week ago, a 10-year-old girl's family contacted them saying the couple had sexually abused her. Now, when they went to the apartment here, they say they were shocked to find out that the bedroom was set up like a pornographic film set, and that among the lights and the cameras, they found a large amount of evidence that substantiated that little girl's story. At this point, they're not sure whether or not that victim could have been filmed as well, but detectives say they also found meth and 2 loaded handguns inside the home. We spoke with Detective Donald Patton about the bravery it took that little girl to come forward in the first place.
It's very hard when you have a child of that age to come forward and reveal any type of sexual assault or physical abuse to themselves, because oftentimes children will hold it in because they're scared themselves and they think it's their fault that they were sexually assaulted.
Smith and Whitney are currently being held in jail without bail until their next court appearance next week. Again, detectives from the Rancho Cucamonga Police Department want to hear from you if you have any information about other potential crimes. For now, reporting live in Rancho Cucamonga, Nicole Comstock, CBS 2 News.
Thanks, Nicole. A potentially dangerous situation this afternoon in Studio City. A SWAT team surrounded a house.
It all started with a search for a fugitive, and then the suspect holed up inside that house. CBS 2's Jeff Nguyen is live near the scene where neighbors had to evacuate. Jeff.
Jeff and Pat, certainly a lot of relief in this neighborhood following a 4-hour standoff. Let me show you where it happened. It happened at this house right here, and investigators right now are inside that house gathering evidence. Police say that they wanted to take their time earlier because the suspect was someone they believed was high on methamphetamine. Let's go ahead and roll some video for you. This is the suspect surrendering to police about an hour ago. Police say he's a man in his 50s. Neighbors say he'd been living there as a guest of the owner, and they say he's been an absolute nightmare. As for what happened today at around 11:30 a.m., officers came here to talk to the man as part of an investigation. They say he's linked to a handful of burglaries in the neighborhood in recent weeks. On top of that, he's also wanted in Idaho. When they got here, he bolted inside. Police who live here told investigators there was a gun inside, so SWAT was brought in to negotiate a peaceful end. They used a loudspeaker to communicate with the suspect while nearby homes were evacuated. And time again, we heard the same story about the guy from a bunch of neighbors.
He's been running around, stealing, breaking into houses, and basically the most recent thing is there was a house fire about 2 doors down. Went in there about 2 nights later and just ransacked the whole place, and we got him on camera going from the burnt out house into his uncle's garage in the back. That's where he's storing everything. So they finally got him, I think. Thank God.
Always the goal to get him to give up and come out peacefully so we don't have to make entry, put anybody else at risk.
So the LAPD brought in a lot of resources here, and earlier the captain did apologize for all of the inconvenience to the neighborhood as well as the traffic here. But they say the goal of bringing all of those resources was to make sure that this thing ended peacefully, which is exactly what happened. For now, we are live in Studio City. Jeff Nguyen, CBS 2 News.
Okay, Jeff, thank you. More breaking news now. The Justice Department confirms the arrest of a U.S. Customs and Border Protection officer here in Southern California. Federal agents raided the Santa Fe Springs home yesterday. 56-year-old Wei Zhu is accused of selling firearms without a license. Investigators say at least one of the weapons was illegal. Wei worked as a supervisor officer at the Los Angeles and Long Beach seaport.
In Glendale, police are investigating the deaths of 2 men as a murder-suicide. One of the men was found dead inside a townhouse early this morning. About 45 minutes later, the other man jumped to his death from the 134 freeway. The townhome's manager told us the men were twin brothers who lived together, and they recently lost other family members. The men's names have not been released, but the coroner says the men were in their 60s.
Now developing news in Orange County, where a bomb squad responded to 2 scares that were just feet apart. And they believe the same man is behind both. CBS 2 Orange County reporter Michelle Geely is live in Garden Grove with more on the threats. Michelle.
That's right, Jeff. The devices found behind me here just off of Euclid. The street, as you can see, has reopened. The area now is open to cars and to people, and it was kind of a nightmare here for several hours as people were rerouted throughout this part of town. According to Garden Grove police, there were 2 devices. One of them was set up to look like a bomb, and that was exploded by the bomb squad. Evacuations and roadblocks left the streets empty for most of the afternoon near the 22 freeway and Euclid in Garden Grove.
It's crazy.
The bomb squad zeroed in on this white Mustang in the 7-Eleven parking lot on Trask Avenue that officials say had a suspicious canister on the front seat with tubes attached to it. According to police, a man left the keys with the clerk inside and wanted to know about security cameras pointing out to the parking lot.
She asked him why he was asking this information. He said, I want to make sure the cameras capture everything that's happening inside this in the parking lot, and something's going to happen.
The situation was so serious, the westbound ramps at Euclid at the Garden Grove freeway were shut down for hours. Nearby streets were closed. This acupuncturist was late for her appointment. Her office is in the middle of the evacuation zone.
It was a 20-minute delay, just one exit over, and all of a sudden I'm coming in here, and just to get into my building, I can't even get into my building to park. I had to park in a nearby neighborhood and walk over here.
The bomb squad blew up a device that was retrieved by a robot from the front seat of the Mustang. Officers describe it as an insecticide bottle with cables and a battery attached to it. It was set up, police say, to look like a bomb. A second device was left at the Euclid nursery. A jug with fluid inside it is being tested. Authorities tell me the substance is flammable. Now, that man who the 7-Eleven clerk talked to was found a few hours later hiding in someone's backyard here in the neighborhood. He has been taken into custody. Police are saying he was under the influence. They are not identifying him yet, but he's a man in his 40s and is going to be booked for several felonies linked to these suspicious devices. That's the latest live here in Garden Grove. I'm Michelle Geely. Back to you.
Michelle, thanks. A Lunar New Year celebration in this Orange County Buddhist temple ended in flames. A 2-alarm fire erupted inside the Ven Men Temple on Magnolia Street in Garden Grove. 2 people were sleeping inside at the time, but they were able to make it out of the building safely. Investigators think a candle left burning on the porch is to blame.
Well, people in Orange County can now text to 911 in case of an emergency. The program was launched in Santa Ana this morning. It's aimed at accommodating people with hearing and speech disabilities. The technology would also help those in emergency situations where calling 911 isn't possible. But officials still urge people to call if they can.
There's nothing that will replace that voice-to-voice contact from the individual to our professional men and women that serve in the dispatch centers. That ability to paint the picture is what we truly want. Call if you can, text if you can't.
To use text to 911, first enable location services on your phone. Type 911 in the to space, and remember, no emojis, pictures, videos, or abbreviations, and no group texts.
Chilly day in Southern California. In Lebec, there was snow on the ground this morning, and the temperatures way down in the low 30s. Also, the wind, it made it feel a lot colder.
And it was also in the low 30s in parts of San Bernardino County. This is Phelan, where snow fell and water iced overnight.
And you know, Pat, I was saying to you, it feels colder here than when you and I were in Atlanta, where they said it was going to be freezing.
No question. And I guess I can't sleep with the window open tonight. Garth?
No, well, I don't know. You know, when I lived in Minneapolis one time, I used to sleep with the window open. I liked it cold.
Wow,
it was like 15 below.
Oh, that's how you liked it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was kind of nice. You'd sleep great, but in the morning you paid for it.
Well, I guess so.
Yeah, exactly.
You couldn't
You
talk.
got to get up. I'm not getting up and shutting the window. All right, yeah, it is a little chillier, Jeff. It feels that way for us. You know what? It's probably a little more damp than where it was with you guys initially, and now we're starting to dry things out a little bit. Look at Long Beach, looking beautiful, 55 degrees, west winds at 8, humidity down there, the dew points down there, so a cool, dry air mass setting in place. That's going to make it cold tonight. Please be careful if you're using candles or if you're using space heaters around the house. Be extremely vigilant with that. Very high fire danger. And also, please make sure animals are in. It's going to be cold for them as well. 23 in the Big Bear now, 40 Lancaster. Now, low 50s pretty much everywhere throughout the area. We're slightly warmer in some spots than we were yesterday at this time, but it is going to get cold tonight. We do have hard freeze warnings. We'll show you all that. Talk about the weekend. We're still tracking some rain as well. That's just a couple of minutes off. Now, back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Scott. Straight ahead here at 5, we're on pothole patrol.
Plus, the man accused of kidnapping Jamie Kloss and killing her parents faces a judge. See what happened in court.
Also caught on camera, an 8-story building collapsing. No warning.
And a school bus slips and flips on an icy road. We'll tell you what happened to the kids inside.